Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL MASITA Ahmad. I'm from PBIA class. My number ID 20400120025. So, in subjecting Introduction to English Literature, I would like to explain romanticism and reason. The middle of the 19th century, much of the United States was still farmers. But it wasn't until 1870 that Americans were making a living in non-existence. At that time, Negro slavery was still the direction of the American left. The nation was split in two. There was a war between North and South from 1861 to 1865. For the South, it meant the persistent flavor of defeat. For the benefit, it meant freedom from slavery. It not all the freedom to buy the whites. Often, as the result, mentioned their patriotic state that convinced them that the United States is the greatest nation on earth. As we have seen, history writers such as Poe and Hawthorne are part of romantic trend between sexes at tourism and art. Romantics in the mid-19th century, who were called the Transcendentalists and led by Ralph Waldo Emerson, reported little positive. Their group includes who of the most significant American writers has been produced so far. Key ideas in the best abstract can be learned at Emerson. There are also other concepts that accompany transcendentalism and that have more influence. One is the idea that it glorifies nature. Thoreau, in his writings, made two crucial contributions to American ideas. One just mentioned is that people should live, not work for a living. Another is that if people think that the law is unjust, they can reject it by civil disobedience. Gandhi was only one of the many interested by this idea, and he used it with great success in India. The nucleus of Gandhi's philosophy appears in his autobiography, 1924. The doctrine of civil disobedience is hot in today's civil rights struggle in the United States. The late Dr. Martin Luther King, who was so convinced by theory nation of non-violence against injustice, also supported the non-violence faith of Gandhi. Okay, so during the time when America was trying hard to become new so that it ignored the wealth of the old world, Longfellow pioneered in adversity and then taught literary European. In 1836, he became a modern language professor at Harvard College and studied in produced a few pottery volumes. The rhyme sounded in bluegrass and other poems. According to some critics, was the best in the lyric. He used European Popotian techniques. Our great writer is a person called himself Mark Twain. He traveled far away to the Western world and reported his journey in a unique way. Because Mark Twain developed extraordinary comics in his writing and in many public appearances as the lecturer, the teacher liked it. As the 19th century neared its end, a few other writers saw life basically in the same north terms as Mark Twain. One of them was another newspaper man, Stephen Crane, who died just as the 20th century was beginning. He wrote novels about characters Americans wanted to disregard, and he described them and the black world in which they lived so graphically that after his death his works became classics. He composed his first novel. When we end this section, the 20th century has just begun, with some of the most interesting literature the American has ever known. Okay guys, that's all that I can explain to you. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.